Hello.
There, it worked. Hello.
Good to see you, my friend.
Likewise. Gosh, it's been a while.
It has been a very long time. Hello, everyone.
And thank you for waiting through this technical difficulties today.
That's all right. You know, it happens to the best of families.
It's
Had to happen
ridiculous,
to us too.
right? Well, for everybody that's joining, so this is our start to Our Stories Live. And I'm so excited that we get to do this. And I get to kick it off with my friend Kalon. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I kind of want to jump in a little bit before I say who you are, for the folks that don't know, that we have actually been chatting and connecting for, I think it's years now, right?
It has been a few years, yes, indeed, since I started doing my original music, which was in 2016.
Has it been that long?
It has been that long. I'm almost 54 in gay years now.
Well, then what does that make me?
Oh, no, you're a different type. You're fine. For me, it
Oh,
multiplies by 7.
does it? My son,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Well, hey, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Hello.
Okay, I'm going to back up a little bit and just say, so what is Our Stories Live? For the people that know me, know that I host a podcast. And that's actually where I got to really know Kalon. But what you may not know, too, is I actually travel around the U.S. interviewing people in person. And I thought I wanted to branch out a way to be able to chat with people that were everywhere. So I came up with this idea where we're going to talk about people that are being themselves just by, or celebrating what makes them different just by being themselves and following their own path. And I think Kalon is like a prime example of this, loving everything you're doing. And I thought you were the right person to start this with.
Thank you, my darling.
You're welcome. So let me tell everybody a little bit about you. So I have to look at my little liner notes. So obviously you're a singer-songwriter. We know this, but you're London-based for everybody that doesn't know. So you're in London right now. You've been in music for quite a long time, and here's just a couple highlights. You were in a vocal choir of the Urban Voices Collection, which included even a performance at the 2012 London Olympic Games.
Uh-huh.
You worked with a ton of musical artists, like some of the big fun names as well. You went solo, I think, in 2016, if I'm correct for that.
That's absolutely correct.
And I think that's when I really started to learn about your music. And I think I discovered you on Twitter. Is actually, I think, how that worked.
Yes.
Yeah, we became fast friends then. During your solo time, then you were known well, especially in Europe, when you went on The Voice UK, and that was just last year.
Indeed.
And you also have just come off the tour with Peter Andre, so you're starting to rack up all these like really amazing things that you're doing.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate at the moment, and I'm not planning for it to stop anytime soon, to be honest. So I'm working very hard to make sure that I can top on all of that.
Yeah, I bet. Well, I want to jump in with Peter Andre tour. I didn't realize this until I looked, but you've been on tour with him for over a year. Like,
No,
what was it?
no, it wasn't over a year. It was 25 dates.
Oh, okay. Because I was looking back at some of your pictures and I was like, has this been going on this long? I can't imagine. I didn't think so.
No, maybe I misposted some of my pictures, or maybe
Yeah.
I was so present they even dreamt of me.
That's what it is. I think it's because I was just looking through all your different like past memories. Well, 25 dates is quite a bit though, and you were opening for him.
I was, yes.
And that's a big line of shows. What was your experience with being on that tour with him?
Oh my God, it was absolutely amazing. I had done tours before as a backing vocalist to various artists, and that was my first tour as myself, opening for an artist whom I love, and it was incredible. The fans were on fire every night.
Really?
They were crazy. I met some amazing people. And again, when you are there doing your own songs, that's where you get to really share what you are, who you are, which I didn't get to share, for instance, on The Voice, even though I had an amazing time there. And it was incredible. The worst part of the tour was that the food was amazing, and I've been eating and eating and eating, and that's not good. Because gay kilos
Yeah.
work the same way as gay years. Multiplied by 7, those two.
I wonder if it's just because like, is it just because you're on tour and there's just, you guys are rushed for time and doing stuff and there's just food everywhere? There's like just, and like backstage or on the bus or wherever you're at.
Literally everywhere. We had the catering, popcorn catering. They are incredible. It was like 5 star food every single day, 3 times a day,
Wow.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And what do you do when you're waiting around? You eat, and it's there for you. And I'm like a dog. So if you put the food in front of me, I'll eat it. So I had to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I bet. Well, I want to jump backwards a little bit then to from when you started your solo career and then you made it to the Voice UK.
Yes.
Did that feel like a big win for you to land that gig?
Yes, I mean, it's interesting that we say to land that gig. I saw it more than a landing, I saw it as a spring platform for
Mhm.
me to get somewhere else. I went on to that show, well, I tried to go into the show with a very clear idea in mind. I wanted it to raise my profile, and I wanted
Yeah.
to get further in my music, in my career. And I knew that just making it into the show wasn't going to make it for me. Because those things, it's easy to just sit and wait for things to happen to you, isn't it? I believe in doing, in making things happen. So I knew that that was the beginning of more work, and that's what I've been putting in. But yes, of course, it felt like a win. I didn't expect the turn. Which is something that people don't know. When I did my blind auditions, I was singing on the last session of the last day
Wow.
of blind auditions. So there wasn't even a guarantee that I would get to sing, let
Wow.
alone to get a turn,
Wow.
because by then the coaches could have already run out of spaces.
Yeah.
So, and I was Sir Tom's last and second to last picked. Again, in the show, they showed a few more people singing after me. That wasn't actually how it panned out in the real life. Surprise, surprise.
Right.
And I was surprised, chuffed, shocked when I got my turn. And I was also determined to do more.
Yeah, I remember what I mean, I saw the edited version if you were on TV and
Yes,
I saw how that worked out and it did seem like was was that were you Sir Tom's last pick as well?
I was, yes.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, down to the wire. Yeah.
Indeed. And of course, that tasted even better because that was even more of a victory for me because I
Yeah.
managed to get that spot that few people managed to get.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, and also I love that scene. I mean, they played it really well. I mean, it was really like it was a little heartstring moment too, you know, when he turned around.
Yes.
So there's also this thing that I noticed in the show with you, and I've known this about you already before, that you were, it seemed like you were pushing comfort zones a little bit, just being who you were, right? With fashion. And obviously there was like the big famous skirt part of one of your
Yes.
performances, right? Um, were you trying to push some comfort zones while you were there, or is that just you being you?
That's just me being me. And there's a story behind that skirt as well.
Oh,
And it is that when the designers, when the stylists of the show brought it in for me to try on, of course I fell in love with it. I said that was what I wanted to wear. And then
yeah,
they decided I shouldn't wear it anymore because they feared it might detract from my performance. I mean, this is all completely new. Nobody's heard about this story. And I had to put my feet down. They weren't expecting it because I'd always been very professional, very compliant. And then I said, you know what? I might be going home. I'm here to be me, to represent me and people who look up to me. No, I'm going to wear the skirt. And they had to let me. And that is the episode that got me the most visibility, both for the good
yeah,
and the bad. For the bad, as in people on Twitter, you know, Twitter is populated with beautiful people like you, and also with people who do feel a bit uncomfortable with other humans.
mm-hmm.
So they were calling me weirdo, camp tart. They were asking, is this a man? And I was really offended by the fact that it took them a whole 4 episodes to work out that I am all of those things. So I am a weirdo, maybe. I am a cantart, and so what?
Yeah, so you're right. So what? Weirdo's good. I like it's not a bad thing
Yeah,
at all. Yeah.
absolutely. So in short, yes, that's just me being me.
Um, and I love that. I love that moment. And I love that it created like a whole life on its own. So anybody who hasn't seen that, you definitely need to go check out that performance. It's on YouTube, and no matter where you're at. And that kind of leads me to going kind of further. Like one of the things that you really talk about, just online and in person, is really about promoting, about being yourself.
Absolutely.
And you do not fit like the sameness mold out there at all. And I'm curious about why that's so important for you to not just be yourself, but promote it for others.
Well, it starts from wanting to be yourself. I
Yeah.
went through it when I was a kid. I grew up in southern Italy, in a rough part of town in the south. And growing up, being me, there were kids who were not very understanding of
Yeah.
the fact that it's fine to be you. So there were literally kids waiting for me to show my face so that they could throw lemons at me.
Horrible.
Now, there were delicious lemons from the Amalfi Coast, but there were still, but there were still
Of course.
lemons. So the flip side of that is that there is no amount of words that you can say to me on Twitter or live that will affect me. But, and this is a big but, which answers your question, there's a lot of people at the moment, and there were also while I was on the show, who do look up to me, who do message me to tell me that I make them feel confident about being themselves.
Sure.
And whenever I respond to the haters, and I have my own way of responding, I don't do it for myself. I do it because I want these people, all the beautiful people who follow me, to know that it's okay.
Yeah.
You can absolutely carry on. Be you. That's the most beautiful thing you can ever be. That's when you're happy. The thing is, people who spend their time looking for people like me online, and sometimes they live thousands of miles away just to say something nasty to me, clearly they're not very happy with the person they are. And to be honest, I actually feel sorry for them too, but in a genuine way. And you know about my rack campaign. I don't want to spoil it.
I was going to ask you about it. Yes, please talk about it.
Well, the way I deal with it all is my rack campaign. I do a random act of kindness for every nasty message I get in that person's name, not against that person. I want their very action to turn into something positive. Because the thing is, again, I've had to learn, it took me a long time, but I had to learn to love myself. So that's fine. Clearly, they don't love themselves. And until they learn to do so, hey, Hunty, here's my unconditional love. It's not always easy, but that's what I want to do. And very often they actually come back to me and turn around and apologize.
Wow. That's big. Is there an example or maybe random act of kindness that you can remember that you could describe?
Absolutely. There was, I've got loads. The most recent was a girl who randomly replied to one of my stories on Instagram. Can I use the actual words? Are we allowed to swear on here?
Sure, why not?
Well, she just said something on the lines of "fuck off, fag. You're gonna go to hell," something like that.
Yeah.
And she's probably watching right now because now she's an avid follower. And I just looked her up at her profile on Instagram. She looks like a lovely girl who seemed to love her friends. And I just said to her, "Thank you for reaching out. Clearly, you know, it's not going to touch me. If I were you, if I was one of your friends," I said, "I've seen that you love your friends. If I was one of your friends and I saw anyone talk to you like that, I'd be very upset. And I'm sure that seeing how you love your friends, you'd be very upset if one of them was targeted online the way you are. So I don't see why you should wish that on somebody else." And she mentioned her religion. And she said that that's what, I'm not going to mention which religion this time around, but she said that that's what she was taught. And I said to her, "Yeah, but your religion also teaches that you should be home and not do anything. And yet I would be very upset if you didn't do it because you're worth it. You seem to be a lovely girl." And I said to her also, let's imagine for a second that you're right. Let's imagine that you are right and I am going to hell. You know, that's not for you to decide anyway. That's for your God to decide once I die. So how about we respect each other while we were alive and we do something together? And I did a minor, like a £1, because I'm not rich yet. I did a £1 donation to women's rights for, again, a specific religious cause. And she apologized, and now she comments on my things. Yes, Queen, yes, Slay, all of that.
You know what's interesting about that is, first of all, that you even had a conversation. It wasn't just a random act of kindness. You had a full conversation with this person. And I think you made this human connection. And I think that's what's missing a lot out of that, especially Twitter hate and whatnot. That
Absolutely.
we kind of separate.
I always make a point of replying to them. I don't always
Yeah.
have time to reply to the nice messages because there's a lot of them, but I will make time to reply to the nasty ones because that is a person that needs help.
Yeah.
And if I can help, you know, I am a cosmopolitan when it comes to my morality. That means that all people are placed as equals to me, no matter how far they are, how many miles away. So if I can help somebody without getting myself in this worse situation, I'm kind of morally obliged to help. That's how I see the world. So that those messages are cries for help. And sometimes they land, sometimes they don't. But at least they are aware somewhere deep inside that there is somebody who will give them ears to listen to their problems.
I do too, and I love that you reply and you do the random act of kindness. I think that's something probably a lot. We could adopt that.
I think everyone should do it.
A random act of kindness.
Yeah, it's the best way of dealing with haters.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
I like
haters
the
anyway?
trigger.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, I was like, I like that. That's the trigger. It's not just because random acts of kindness. A lot of people do that out of campaigns or just do it because.
Yeah.
But I like that you're being triggered on something that turns it into something positive. That's a wonderful message.
Absolutely. You know, it's not just for me, as I said before. It's for the people who follow me, but it's for them. I want their very negative action. I want to show them that even a negative action can turn into something positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of random acts of kindness, I know that and something else has inspired a new song for you.
Wow.
And I would love for you to talk about, because you just shared, I think you've just started to share the new song, Singing Revolution.
Yes.
And you shared with me the inspiration was connected to Rack and also to the Singing Revolution. Maybe you could talk a little bit about the song and the inspiration.
Of course. Well, I might start from the inspiration, which I find truly inspiring. It's an actual fact of history, and I really invite people to look it up on Wikipedia or whatever. When the USSR invaded the Baltic countries, which are Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, one of the things they did at the time was banishing their original languages and folk songs. So what the Estonians did, they went into the streets and they demonstrated by holding hands and singing their folk songs. That started a domino effect of changes that brought to their freedom, and that is known as the Singing Revolution. I thought that was immensely inspiring, and of course it has to deal with me, with people trying to stop us from being who we are. Now, that song I wrote just before the tour, and I sang it on the tour. People responded beautifully, so I thought that should be my next single. And the stripped down version is actually available for free to people who sign up to my mailing list, my newsletter. And what is it about? Really, I say in the song, you can take, actually the opening line, I think makes sense. Take my hand, then grab hold of my arm. I'll sit still till I've nothing left to give. Won't you believe I'll make something new to give? And that's really what it is. Take all you want from me. If that's what you want, I'll grow something more. Because sharing is not dividing, I believe. I think it's multiplying. Yeah. Let's just do that together and move on and do something beautiful, because we can. Let's start a singing revolution.
It's beautiful. And I love the inspiration for it, because I did read through Wikipedia the information, you know, and I had no clue about it. Do you see this, like, or do you have a hope or anything, or maybe a desire that it becomes something bigger and people can adopt the idea of it?
I would adore for it to be something bigger. I think there is so much hatred doing the rounds at the moment, and people love to get offended about things
Hmm.
and calling people out and naming and shaming. I just think there's better ways of doing it. I'm not discounting that there are things that happen that do trigger people, for rightly so. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that hatred can't be fought with hatred, because hatred and more hatred only generate more hatred. Guess what? How about we try and turn it all into something positive? Find that common ground of positivity, of helping others, because we all have it inside us. I'm a Buddhist, and I truly believe that every single person has the same potential for good. I also believe that some people start a bit further back on the line, but that doesn't mean that they can't get there. They just
Yeah.
need help.
Yeah.
And if we just respond by being despondent, we're never going to get anywhere. It's only going to get worse.
Yeah. I agree. I'm wondering, because I've heard your music in the past, and so with this new single and is there a forthcoming album as well that comes along with this single? And I guess the second part of that, if there is there any sort of theme that connects to this being yourself and doing more?
Absolutely. The answer is yes and yes. There is a
Okay.
forthcoming album called Songs of Babel, and it's dedicated to all the people who don't understand that we are all the same until
Mm.
it's decided that we should misunderstand one another.
Mm.
And I've thought of people who could have been citizens of Babel for the new album, or situations that have to deal with that. So, of course, one of them is Singing Revolution. Another song is Ulysses, which I've been performing on tour as well. Ulysses, we know about the hero, about the curiosity that he had, and about the fact that he was condemned, really, to travel from island to island trying to find home. And I thought that relates a lot with what we go through. You know, we go from person to person trying to fit in. But
Yeah.
that's not our home. That's just an island until we find our own home. There's another song called Midas. Midas, after the Grecian king, who had the gift and the curse of being able to turn into gold everything he touched. And a
Yeah.
lot of people present themselves as Midases, don't they? Oh, I can do this, I can do that for you. But I want people to remember that we are the gold. And there's more songs, but that will come up soon.
That's beautiful. I love all of that.
Thank you.
Um, I want to wrap this part of this up about this being yourself, and we're getting close to time anyways, but I'm wondering, just because you're meeting so many people while you're on tour and through your career and what you're writing and what you're singing, is there one piece of advice or wisdom you would offer to somebody, like an everyday person, about being themselves or how to do it, especially while trying to follow a dream?
Well, the first is, and this might sound against what I've been saying so far, but this is specifically for teenagers. Think safely first.
Mm.
Be safe. Be yourself, but also make sure that you are yourself in a situation where you do not risk your life. Because there's a lot of kids who get attacked, or that sometimes in their families. I talk about this because my family is quite homophobic by nature. And you do have to make sure that you stay in a safe situation first and foremost. Then be yourself, as in, be yourself just means stop trying to fit in. If your friends are wearing, I don't know, if one day that will be the safe option, yellow leotards. If everyone's wearing yellow leotards and you don't like yellow leotards, you don't have to wear them to be accepted. Start wearing, I don't know, caps with cat ears and leopard print. Really, being yourself is about being creative. Being creative is about creating. And creating isn't necessarily doing something that will shock people. That's, I suppose, my way. But it could be anything. If you like numbers, it could be your own way of dealing with numbers. You could be Karen from finance, and you have your own way of dealing with your team. You could doodle, there's so many ways of being yourself. Some people think that being yourself also has a recipe that you have to follow step by step. Oh, I want to be myself, but I have to be myself that way. I have to tongue pop. I have to do the death drop. I have to do this. I have to do that. If that's what you want to do, great. But make sure you don't do it just because everyone else who's being themselves is doing it.
Mm-hmm. I love
Does that
that.
make
I love
sense?
that. Oh, absolutely. I see it a lot where the outliers that are being really different are doing certain things. And so if you want to be different as well, because you don't want to be part of the sameness, you're still maybe doing things that the outliers are doing just
Yeah.
to be different. But that's still not maybe honestly who you are.
Absolutely. And people react so much differently when you truly are yourself.
Yeah.
They see it, they perceive it. It's a bit like kids and printers, they smell fear. And, sorry. But no, people absolutely perceive that because it gets through to them and it kind of inspires them to do the same. I get messages all the time from people saying that to me, which I find absolutely exhilarating in the most beautiful way. I'm chuffed,
Yeah.
and I'm even surprised every day that there's people actually thinking of me and looking up to me for being me.
But that's a beautiful thing. That's so wonderful because that's what you're trying to be, just you.
Absolutely, and that's why I do this job. Well, I
Yeah.
call it job, but it's a game. It's my life. It's everything.
Yeah. But yeah, it's true. It's even in the stuff that we love to do, it still can be a job.
Absolutely, but you're doing that too, and I look up to you too as
Right.
well because you're doing so well. I'm chuffed for you.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, and I love it. I love what I do, but it's kind of a job.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned this earlier about signing up to your mailing list. What's the easiest way for people to hear your new single or to download it?
So, if they're on Instagram and they're watching us, because they are, it's in my highlights, it's in the link in my bio, it's in my website, it's in my Twitter, it's a link. All they need to do is click the link, put in their email address, and they receive a download link. So it should be very easy. And also, people feel free to message me if you have problems with it. I'll send it to you. I'm not precious like that. I just want to share this.
That's true. You sent it to me. So.
Girl, I'll send you anything. You're my friend.
That's true. That's true. It's been years of that. Well, this has been terrific.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that we have been friends for, I guess it's going on 3 years now. I'm so thankful that we've connected. The one thing I want to tell people that are watching, if you want to know more about Kalon, a couple years ago, I actually interviewed him for my podcast and we got a little deeper. So that's before some of these things that you've just experienced or shared. So if you want to go listen to that interview, that's at mybigstory.show, and you can listen to that interview. So Kalon, this has been amazing. Thank you for taking the time to do it with me.
Thank you so much for having me, Christopher. It's always a joy. And you're amazing. And I'm very proud of you. You're doing fantastic.
Thank you so much. One day we are going to cross the sea and hang out in person, and that will be amazing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Sure. And if you wouldn't mind, could you maybe sing us out?
Sure. What do you have a favorite song?
I have a few, but I want you to choose. It could be something new or something past.
Okay. You know what? I'm not going to do one of mine because I don't want to spoil the surprise. But I'm going to give you one that I absolutely adore by the Prince of music himself. You don't have to be beautiful to turn me on. I just need your body, baby, from dusk till dawn. I'll go to the chorus. You don't have to be rich to be my guy. You don't have to be cool to rule my world. Ain't no particular sign I'm more compatible with. I just want your extra time and your kiss. There you go.
Thank you. I love it. Thank you, my friend. Talk soon.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Right.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.